Hey OBTS family, Dr. Arlan Albur here. In my last email, we talked about my number one tip for you for 2023. Seeing what you're wanting to be able to do in 2023. Even seeing maybe the better version of yourself. Now we're sticking to the physical health side of things. Again, I mentioned previously, whatever it is that you're not able to do right now that you're wanting to be able to do in 2023, see yourself already doing it. Now, I did promise in my last email that I'll be sharing with you tips on how you can make that happen. So, these are actually my top 3 tips for 2023. The number 1 tip is the tip I shared with you in my last email, which is to see it. The number 2 tip, top 2 tip, the second tip is to write it. Write it down. And preferably write it down and post it somewhere where you could always see it. I believe in the power of handwriting it and posting it somewhere that you're constantly going to consistently be able to see it. There's a power, and there's a reason why some people advocate using vision boards. And maybe you can have a vision board. Maybe you can print a picture of yourself doing what you used to do. Use that. But write down your vision. Remember, seeing it, now writing it. Now what do you write though, right? And how do you write it? So how do you write it? Use the SMART framework. It's an acronym, SMART. S stands for specific. You have to be very specific. The vision that you'd like to see yourself already doing in 2023. In my case, my specific goal is to be able to play better golf and shoot at least once a 79 in 2023, which is actually the next letter in SMART. M is measurable. So in my case, it is measurable. There's a 79. Your measurable could be maybe you used to be able to walk a mile. And now you're only able to walk a quarter mile. And that could be a specific goal. I'd like to, you visualize yourself walking a mile and being even more specific and measurable every other day. That could be a measurable goal for some of you listening to and watching this video. A, SMART, S-M-A, A stands for achievable. So it has to be achievable, it has to be realistic, right? You know, for some of you, maybe your vision is you're seeing yourself running again, and well, in fact, you haven't run for 10 years. That might not be a realistic thing, right? So you gotta be putting a vision out there that could, you know, it could be a stretch goal or it could take some doing, but it should be achievable. It could be as simple as being able to walk without pain, or being able to walk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes for some of you, be able to walk that long without having to sit down. But I'd like you to put specific, measurable, and achievable goals. Now, R stands for relevant. Relevant meaning, is your vision relevant to what you really want to do? Well, obviously that's already easy to determine, right? In my first tip, I talked about seeing it. What is it that you want to see yourself being able to do? A better version of yourself in 2023. So make sure it's relevant. And finally, letter T should be time bound. There has got to be a time-specific deadline. Now, I keep saying 2023. That could mean that the goal could be by May or before summer. I want you to be very specific. Put a specific date also. Make sure you put a deadline on when you'd like yourself to be able to do in what you're seeing yourself doing in 2023. So, the second tip is to write it. Write it using the SMART framework. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to respond or comment to this video or to this email, or however you receive this particular tip. I'll see you then. In my next tip, I'll talk about how you can implement what you wrote. Wait for my next email. I'll see you then.